Welcome back to another episode of WittyBantr. Your host, Nabil, is here. And I think Daniel will be joining us shortly. And Anika's out for a walk. A conversation with yourself. Oh, maybe I don't have to have a conversation with myself. I see a person named Daniel. Well, if it isn't Daniel.
Daniel, Ron.
So, Daniel, where did you just come from?
I went on a trek. I rode my bicycle on Kenyatta Road. It's closed on Sundays, so there's no garis in the way. I can't remember if it was 4 or 8 miles, but I wanted to record it, so I'm gonna have to type it in later, kind of like how you record your calories.
What do you mean, record the miles that you went?
Yeah, so like I've been recording, like my new thing has been running and improving my cardio. So in order to hold myself accountable, I have an app called Strava in which I record how many miles I've run, my time, and then the app automatically tells me if I've beaten certain times, like my first mile or my total time, as well as like the total miles that I've run in the past month.
I see.
And I think it's similar to your calorie counting, because it's a way of holding yourself accountable, since human memory is faulty, to say the least. It's tracking is the only way in which, or do you think, I guess I can have it as a question, do you think tracking is the only way in which you can hold yourself accountable?
Yeah, I mean, it is a way to keep yourself accountable. I mean, the bottom line is when you wonder, how did I get here? And how come I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish? Tracking that information, then you can just look and be like, oh yeah, that's because I ate 5,000 calories every day for the last month or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely...
Or I guess you infamously do the thing for applying job as well, the Excel sheet.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of like saying...
Because then you don't know, so you can be honest with yourself. So you don't say like, oh yeah, I've been applying this much all the time and something's not working.
Right. Do you think that's a better way of tracking versus having someone else hold you accountable, not yourself? Because I mean, I guess you could hold yourself accountable if you have maybe discipline, but even then you can kind of fudge the numbers up, kind of, if you say like, oh yeah, like, I mean, maybe you do exercise every day, but like you do take a few days off, and so in your brain you think, oh, I work out every day, but
Yeah, I don't think you need someone to hold yourself accountable. I think keeping records is like having another person. Now, if you're not honest with yourself, then maybe. But I'm assuming, like I'm fine being honest with myself. I won't like convince myself otherwise.
Right.
I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm definitely, like, if I'm gonna eat a snack, there's no like, oh, I deserve it, or it's like, no, I'm eating a snack and that's that. So yeah, I think record keeping is like having another person to keep you accountable, assuming that
to validate your accountability.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's correct. Well,
or is the data the thing that's keeping you accountable?
Yeah, the data should be valid. If you're fudging numbers, then...
Oh no, I wasn't saying that. I was saying like numbers is validating your own accountability of yourself versus the numbers are holding you accountable. You get what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Like if
the numbers are the accountability and the validity, they're both.
Okay.
Right? Like it's
like the numbers aren't telling you to go, eat certain calories. You're telling yourself that. Yeah, but the numbers are verifying that.
The numbers should tell you.
You have
should
the capability.
Guide your decisions.
Right.
Should be like, yeah, you can have another snack, but here's the number. You've already had this many calories, so
Right.
you do the math.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Do you have any problems with the ease of tracking? So I think there's a lot of software coming out now that adds value to people's lives because it makes it easier to track. Like MyFitnessPal makes it easier to track calories. The Strava app makes it easier for me to count how many miles I've run. QuickBooks and TurboTax makes it easy for you to I guess TurboTax not really. QuickBooks shows you like if your business is becoming more profitable or not, or how much money you're actually taking in.
so sorry, what, and your question is?
My question is, do you have any problem with companies providing this value with the intent to use the data? We've kind of
No,
brushed on that
I don't
topic.
think I have a problem with it. Are these, if they're free?
Some of them aren't.
Yeah. Well, I guess I still
They
don't
just
know.
they just remove the ads. So some of them will have ads to make it free, but
Yeah.
they'll also use the data some of
Yeah.
the time.
I guess I'm not, or I'm okay with it because I think the intention is, okay, how do we keep expanding and building, right? So you built some software that collects information. Now what they're trying to do is, okay, can we use this information to take this to the next level? So with that kind of intention, I'm okay with. I'm not okay with. Well, yeah.
More times than not. Well, I guess we don't know the percentage, but let's say it's not for the intent of helping their own business, but to use the data, package it, and sell it to a private party.
Well, what is the intentions of the private party?
I mean,
'Cause is that also if that's to expand as well, then I'm fine with that.
let's say the intent isn't. They don't know what the intent is, but
Okay.
I mean,
Then I don't know how to comment on it.
okay. So there would be certain intents where you would say they shouldn't be allowed to sell versus, like, let's say it's food tracking data.
Okay.
They're not, the actual data they're selling wouldn't be like passwords and usernames and stuff like that with the intent to commit fraud. It would be, I'm selling the data that they're providing us of their calories, their tracking, their age demographics and all that.
Yeah.
So I guess in what scenario would you say the intent, they shouldn't be allowed to sell the data versus they should?
If they're trying to be malicious or harmful, I guess. If they're trying to extract value from this information, then I'm fine with that. Even if you sell it or whatever.
Okay. I guess I couldn't think of anything.
If you're trying to I don't know, extort people or something, or not, I mean, extort's not the right word, but attack them somehow with the information.
Let's say the line is drawn with the person's name, right? Like the data you're selling can't be tracked back to that specific person. Okay. Normally the data is packaged, I guess, from my
like anonymous
limited.
People.
It's anonymous, but they have the the age, the general area, and then all the specifics of what you've put in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay if you trade that information.
Right. As long as it's not like their personal name and whatnot.
Yeah, as long as the intention is we're trying to make the world a better place, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like we're trying to, we're trying to expand. We have this information. Now how do we use this information to, create more value?
Right. Yeah. I guess from our personal use of the thing, we don't. I mean, if I see something in the news about, a company accidentally leaking, like, personal information, then I won't use it.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, when I'm using some of these apps, I know that they could probably sell the data. And even Strava has actually emailed me and said that we don't sell your data. That's not how we make money. But Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat. I wouldn't care even if they did, as long as it wasn't my personal information.
Yeah, because I mean that's the whole point of like, or I mean it's not the point. It's an obvious like side effect of like developing software, right? So the point of it is like you're trying to make a tool that makes your life easier
Yeah,
somehow. But then
solves
the
a
side
problem.
effect is now you get these huge warehouses of data that can be further analyzed to maybe extract some different type of values for different industries even.
Right.
So then the question is, well, are we just gonna not do anything with this and just because nobody likes their information to be shared?
Privacy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get,
Where they're coming
privacy,
from. Yeah.
but we need to be able to handle both cases, trade this information, sell it, whatever, but also and maintain people's privacy.
Right.
Um,
Right.
because yeah, I mean, I don't know, it just seems like a very obvious opportunity to, you know, expand our civilization and the
Or their
infrastructure
business.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
expand business and again, the goal is to, create things that we didn't even know existed. Um, it's like you wouldn't have known. Nobody would have come up with the idea of Snapchat unless the guy who made it was experimenting with these kind of things. So if we don't experiment with this information, then we could be leaving some valuable stuff on the table, I think. Um,
Is there any part of your life that you'd feel like your own personal tracking would not benefit, or it is like going overboard?
hmm.
Like people like to track sleep. I think that makes sense. People like to track their eating.
Yeah, I
People
mean,
like to track their exercise.
if my name's not tied to it, I suppose I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if they tracked stuff
Oh,
about
I
me.
wasn't saying like companies. I was saying like for yourself.
Oh,
You know how like
yeah, like I wouldn't track how many times I use the
the restroom.
restroom.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess I would if it had to do with my health. If I had some colon disease and that was related to the frequency in which I use the
Yeah.
restroom, then maybe I would do that. Is there anything overboard?
I guess unless
No,
yeah,
I don't think
unless
so.
it's actually affecting other. Well, okay. One thing would be like sharing on your social media. Some people would say that, it's basically you're keeping track of your relationships of your past and stuff. It's like
Mhm.
your online
The,
photo book.
okay, and so
Right.
So what's the argument?
So some people say you shouldn't go on social media, or you're too obsessed with taking photographs, but you're not like living in the moment, right?
Okay,
But an argument
there's
could
a
be made
balance.
there, right? That
Right,
they're
there's a value to photographing memories,
right.
but there's also a value of not going overboard with it so that you didn't even experience the moment while you were in it. So that is like a balance thing, I think.
Hmm.
One thing that could be going overboard, I think, is the Venmo, like sharing all the financial transactions. I don't know what the value of that is. I only see security risks that everybody can see which money is going where.
Hmm.
I think financial
I think
stuff
that's
should be transparent in general,
right.
but I don't see the value in everybody knowing that I paid you $10 for pizza.
I think it's more. Yeah, I agree. That shouldn't be public. I don't know why
Like, what's
they're
the
trying to
point
make
of
it into
that?
a social network kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no.
I think the intent maybe was more of, let's say, you're like, oh, you didn't pay me for that pizza, and I said, oh, yes, I did. That was 2 months ago. Remember? And then I go
Yeah,
open the Venmo app and show you.
yeah, but that should be, if it,
That would be personal, yeah, between
yeah,
us two.
it should
I
just be
agree.
a list of my transactions.
Yeah, I don't know what was the intent with liking and commenting on Venmo.
Financial things, I'm not sure. Maybe they just were trying it and then they just left it in there.
Maybe they just want it to be socially acceptable so that they're allowed to share that kind of data. Maybe, I don't know.
Did you hear? Is it Instagram removing likes or something?
Oh yeah, I heard about
Did
that.
that already happen?
They're
So apparently,
piloting it
other
in
markets
Australia. Yeah.
like Canada has had it for a while now. Apparently,
Oh really?
yeah, that's what I read. I read someone's comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. But my understanding is that other different markets have already had this rolled out.
Yeah,
I
they're testing it in other areas.
I think I think it's good. I'm on the side of that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think things that get a lot of views definitely change the way people view
Yeah.
things. If something has a lot of views, people can be like, "Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
It
yeah,
skews
definitely,
there,
definitely."
yeah. Especially with
So,
trending on YouTube, like that. I
yeah.
think is the
Do you know why Instagram wants to remove it?
it. I think part of it was definitely having to do with a lot of the people saying, or the anxiety of being an influencer and having all those likes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Kim Kardashian had actually spoken out about it at one point, saying that there's no value
Yeah.
in having it. But yeah, I don't know what the corporate spin would be on it, but that I know is kind of the underlying theme of everyone saying that it doesn't. If anything, it kind of affects people mental if they get lower likes or more likes.
Yeah.
And that is not.
I don't think it's going to
behavior.
make a huge change in the quality of the content. It might just change the way people view content, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, I remember what the corporate spin on it was. So, Instagram is rolling out, or has been rolling out, advertisements. I guess Facebook has been rolling out advertisements on Instagram. A lot of influencers like to share the amount of likes and shares their posts get, because if they have a sponsored post, they can show the company like, okay, hey, this is how much reach your ad has. And so I guess some people might think that Instagram or Facebook is trying to prevent influencers from sharing that data, because instead of companies paying the influencer to show the ad, yeah, they would show Instagram. But
interesting.
They're still allowing influencers to see how many people like their posts.
Yeah.
But this could affect how many people actually like the post, right? Like,
yeah.
Like if,
but,
for instance, there was like a big meme about, let's see if this egg can get more likes than the photo of Kim Kardashian, or not Kylie Jenner. She had like the most liked photo.
Okay.
And that egg ended up getting the most likes.
Okay.
But if no one could see how many likes it had, I mean, do you think people might not care?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Right.
the guy who posted can always just post
Share
the
that.
internal
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
I do think that Instagram should not. They should keep the power of those
Showing it.
analytics. No, to the influencers and the creators, the people who have the account. They shouldn't
Right.
take that away to try and get the ad companies to go to them directly.
Right.
I think you should stay as this kind of, you're just a platform. Let them transact business.
Right.
I think you'll be a stronger business for that. Because
So-
if you're getting in the way, it almost defeats the whole purpose of the platform. Because the platform is just like, set these people free and let them,
Right.
do business like this. But if you're going to become the intermediary, then you're going back to the traditional.
So it could do two things. One, I think it might have the opposite effect where, because a lot of people, or I mean, there are complaints that there's too many advertisements on these influencers page. Like Scott Disick is like
I don't know who that
a big influencer on Instagram, and all he's been posting are giveaways. And so I unfollowed him
Yeah.
just because
That
it's
would get
getting
pretty
kind of
boring.
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it could do is, if these companies aren't partnering with these influencers, the influencers go back to posting about,
Real stuff.
their organic lives rather than, show these ads.
Yeah.
I definitely think this will have an impact on the amount of likes that the photos will have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For some reason, I think that less people are gonna maybe like, or maybe more. Who knows? I think it would affect though how many, like, if it'll have more or less. I don't know which one, but
Yeah.
so for Instagram or Facebook, I should say, their interest obviously is to get more ads on the platform versus having influencers, and this might, benefit them because more users will want to use Instagram if the posts that of the people they're following are more organic. And Facebook also did this, by the way, on Facebook. They had it previous where you could have a company page, and if you had someone following or someone who liked your page, anything you posted would be as if you were a friend of theirs. So they would see your post, everyone would like it or whatever, share it. But then they monetized it by having, if you had a corporate page or a company page, you would have to pay money to promote the post, which means if you shared it without promoting the post, no one would see it. So their, I guess, game is to try to limit the ads that are coming directly from these pages. That way, more people are paying for their ads or paying on their advertising platform. But yeah, I think in general, I think it's better for the platform because I agree with you. Like, I think people skew their thoughts on songs and on content in general when they see that it has more likes or more views.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, that's my spiel on it.
I was thinking, oh, hi. I mean, you can come. Do you think we should go back to having guests on this program? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we could. We could. The only thing I can think of is
Sometimes I think, I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to do it all the time. You can do it every other guest, but guest of the month or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe once a month. Because part of me thinks, it is interesting to get other people's perspectives.
Right.
Who aren't a Rana family member. But then I also realize that, like, mentally for me, it's a little too much social, what would you say? Yeah, it's just too much socializing.
Yeah.
I can only handle so much. So maybe we can go back. Maybe we can go to like once a month or something.
Yeah, guest of the month. And it doesn't have to be on a specific day. It could be any weekend of the month. That way it's more flexible to the guest. Right.
What do you mean? So it wouldn't be like on Sunday?
It would be
4
once
p.m.
No, yeah, it would be like during this time. But I'm saying like it could be the first week or the last week. It doesn't matter which week it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, last time were we doing it like every week?
Yeah, we were.
I think maybe we started out kind of slow. Yeah, but you're right. I think it felt like it was like once a week or something.
Right.
And that was just a little too much. All right, so maybe we'll try and make that change. How do we take, along those lines, do you have any ideas to take WittyBantr to the next level? And do you even feel that that's something we should strive for?
Yeah.
Because we haven't really put any, other than we've stuck, for the most part, coming here every week, but we haven't done anything necessarily to kind of push it to the next level. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think you have to... It's hard to create original content that people will, at least in a podcast, that people will enjoy.
Well, I guess let's narrow it down.
A lot of the times for people to find you organically, you have to talk about issues that are currently happening.
Yeah.
And I guess we did bring up the idea of finding an article or something, but I think it has to be like maybe that day. Because then when you put the title and it's something, current.
Yeah.
That's how people would
Well,
Maybe
here,
do
give
that
me an
first.
example. Do you watch any podcasts, and what is their selling point of the podcast that you watch?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm thinking Theo Vaughn. Any podcast he's on multiple ones.
Right.
I'm interested in him for him. Now, I don't think you or me, I mean, maybe we have a personality that people like, but I don't think we're that out there like you know, like Theo Vaughn or whatever.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
they sell their character. He says
They're
like
comedians.
he
Yeah.
says silly things that don't make
Yeah.
any sense, and so people tune in. I bet to listen to
watch
that kind of perspective. But let's think about someone else who maybe. Oh well, another one is this guy. I think his name is Alex Friedman. G knows who he is, but he interviews people like Elon Musk and a lot of scientists. So, and it's not, and he's a very, how would you say? He's very monotone. He talks like this, and so he's very. There's no nonsense. He's a no nonsense kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I think people tune in because he's able to. I guess he's able to enable a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the normal person, but he is a little smart. He knows a bit about the subject matter somehow. I don't know what he does. And then he's able to engage with these scientists, people, and technologists and have a fruitful conversation. So I guess that's the value there. I feel like with us, we don't have any crazy connections, but which we kind of tapped on is like interviewing kind of the normal people of our community.
Right.
Just like the people that we've had on are like, people
Average Joes.
yeah, we're average Joes. These are the friends of
Average.
average Joes.
We're just average people.
Yeah, we're just average people. So I think that was probably one of our value adds is like, you're tuning into this podcast to just hear, regular people talk, not like some celebrity or
I kind of like the whole profession.
idea, understanding right? People's professions. I agree.
Like when Shaladin was on, like learning about what they do and stuff. I think that's interesting to not only us, but to people who are interested in going into the field.
Yeah.
So I think if you could find people who might have unique jobs, that would be an interesting thing, because it's like kind of average Joe. Most of the people who have these jobs aren't, celebrities or anything.
Right.
But it gives insight for people who are searching for these kind of, professions or odd jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that out of all the spins, I think that would probably be the
that's
best
true.
one.
Yeah.
Because then we're also coming in from the idiot's perspective, which I like. Because like when I see podcasts, Matt Diavella has his own podcast. He's like a photographer, film guy. But the people he brings on have some sort of specialty. Even Joe Rogan too. Like he brings on people who are much smarter than him in certain, areas. And so you're just listening to them, or he's asking questions that you would think of to ask this person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think how we could do it is like, so if it's going to be once a month, we could spend the 3 weeks leading up to it kind of promoting it on social media and stuff, and then premiere it, and then it happens, and then as it's happening, we can, it ends, and then we're like, we'll keep doing this every week. So if you're interested in us, tune in even before the next guest.
Right.
And so maybe we can kind of keep making those waves a little bit.
Yeah. Like what are some, tune in if you want to have some questions that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just talk to us, it'll be 3 weeks.
Or that too, yeah.
It'll be 3 weeks of just us, and then it'll be a guest on the fourth one. So we kind of use those weeks to kind of build up to that. Maybe even, whatever their profession is or whatever we're going to talk to them about, we spend those 3 weeks just trying to understand that field.
Right.
So then 3 weeks is a long time, and we can do it live too, because obviously we don't like doing homework clearly. But we could, like, the 3 weeks leading up, just have your phones out and just start Googling stuff and then talk about it maybe.
Yeah.
And then by the time the guest comes, we also have a little bit of ammo we can throw at them. That might be a way to take the WittyBantr to the next level.
Yeah. And so then, like, pretty much once a month, it would be a day in the life, or not day in the life, but like
It's just a conversation.
Conversation with a plumber, conversation with a lawyer.
Yeah,
that kind of-
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still working on programming. Oh yeah, let me just turn your microphone on here.
Hello.
Your microphone on? Yeah, it is.
I think so.
I can hear it.
Yes. So.
Yeah, so we were just talking about maybe taking WittyBantr to the next level, and I thought, well, should we have guests again, as you heard?
Mm-hmm.
But
And
with
I
a
guess
certain intent.
maybe, yeah, so maybe we have a guest once a month, and then the 3 weeks leading up to that, we could even live on the podcast. Well, we can talk about whatever we normally do, or we can whip out our phones and be like, all right, our next guest is a lawyer. Let's, I don't know, look up some history about law. And just like kind of build a little bit of knowledge to have an engaging conversation with this person that we're gonna have in whatever field that they.
So here's the other thing we could do in combination with that. You know how Sundays are always kind of, for some people it might be more difficult to get together at this time. What if we, instead of having the guest necessarily come on Sunday. So, for example, if I'm traveling and I have a conversation with someone, kind of videotape them for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we discuss around that topic that person has shared with us. I'll be you and I both will be doing some traveling over the winter break.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether it's the people that we reach out to in our travels, even in a couple of weeks, we'll be seeing a group of people on Thanksgiving. So it might be, instead of setting that person up here, it might be, you know, an offshoot of WittyBantr. Now, of course, we don't have to finalize anything now. But it's just kind of brainstorming that to bring another voice in this, so that what would entail is this person, if they can come on the Sunday at 4:00, they come and join us. If they cannot, we get a varied voice. You know, when we've done the WittyBantr special, so that's one suggestion we can think through. The other thing I was thinking about, you had suggested this whole concept of doing efficiency and environmental friendly little videos of cooking in particular. And so we could do something like that, intersperse it with that. But we could also consider we could be thematic, as Danielle said, what you were saying earlier. So we could do that something.
Yeah, I suppose I lean towards the Sunday at the same time, only because I like the idea of, well, doing it live and then getting the guests, like, whatever.
To engage.
Yeah, and then whoever likes them, their family members, their friends, to tune in to the live thing and then like have that. I like the idea of that anyway.
Yes. No, that's true. I do like that.
Even though I don't think we've really had, when we had the guests, did we ever have like any of their people? I guess they were watching.
Did. Yes.
But nobody ever like engaged with text. But
yeah, we can you know, off camera we can kind of also consider a bit more of what this could look like. As far as now, of course, the consistency of 4:00 Sunday and this space is good consistency to have. Another thing which I have noticed for other people who have podcasts, on their websites or Facebook, they have requests for if you want to be included as a guest.
right into this email.
Yes, right into this email. And that way you could have, instead of us reaching out, you could have people reaching in to us as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That, of course, the way I've worked with people online is I've done some interviewing online. Of course, you could always set it up as a Zoom or other interview kind of that setup.
Right.
So it could be, rather than us reaching out to friends and family, put a call out there to anyone who's interested in participating and ask them to fill out the form. I feel somehow that is a model which gives us a little more creativity in the discussions that we have, so that they're not people that are only just familiar with us.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, the goal has been to be creative in some way. So you could say, what are your elements of creativity?
Yeah, what are you interested in?
Yes.
What do you like to do? Yeah, that's true.
So when you listen to podcasts, I'm not much of a podcast listener.
Yeah.
When you listen to podcasts, what is it that engages you? Is it the host? Is it the guests? Is it the content, or a certain level of combination of all?
Yeah, so
Usually the guest.
for me, it depends on the podcast. So yeah, sometimes it's the guest, in which the host does a very good job in like
Bringing out.
Yeah, bringing out this person who's already interesting. So those podcasts I like for the guests, and then other ones like a lot of the stand-up comedians, they do a lot of podcasts, and I like those just because I find them funny. So it's a combination of both.
What about you, Daniel? What? And we've always been. My understanding was the goal was not necessarily to have a lot of people watching.
Yeah, I'm not. And if you noticed, I didn't say anything about
the viewers.
I don't think I did. Yeah,
No, you didn't.
I'm just saying. Yeah, how do we take it to the next level, like for ourselves, kind of thing. Not necessarily more views, but
to make it more engaging and have a variety of topics.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and just to get another perspective, and maybe.
I would like us to think also. I'm sorry, Daniel. I asked.
And so it doesn't get old and stale.
Yes, do you have an answer to that question regarding WittyBantr? I'm sorry, podcasts that you watch, and what engages you?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's like if it's a comedian, it's for the host and how that comedian interacts with other comedians. If it's like another just regular host having a conversation, it's usually the guest has something interesting to say about their profession or their expertise in certain areas. So I like the dumb approach of, I don't know anything, you tell me what your profession is about, or what I guess sleep is about. So what engages me with our podcast is this concept of witty banter. I love to be amused by conversations. I love the idea of playing with words and ideas and then having a level of entertainment and amusement about it.
Yeah.
So even though we have a level of seriousness to our discussions, I would love the banter element and also the witty element.
I agree. Yeah, I think maybe a person who's not, because if we know each other, sometimes it's hard to come up with new stuff.
Yes.
Right? To banter about. So if we get this guest, and I don't know if we were more banterish when we had guests, but I imagine we could be.
I would imagine we could be too, and I think we probably should think deeper about the concept of being witty. And of course, you want the wittiness to come naturally. You don't want it to be contrived.
Yeah.
And you don't want the banter to be contrived. But I think there still needs to be some mental preparation, intellectual preparation of, something like... I think this rapid fire concept with words, association. You pick words of the day, and say, what do you associate with that? Or so that might be one idea, but there might be other ways that you can think of, or there might be images that we think of. What's an image of the day, and how do you engage with it, or what's the punchline for it?
Yeah.
And so those are a couple of ideas just off the top of my head. But I do feel that there needs to be some level of intellectual lightheartedness.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we lack that a little bit.
You can say that again.
It would be cool also to have because we always talk about certain concepts during the show. It would be cool to have a 30-day challenge type of thing where we try certain challenges, like taking cold showers every morning, or no internet or YouTube or whatever.
Ooh, both those sound painful. Yeah. The cold shower, and who knows the truth.
It would be interesting because then we could,
But do you really? Do you trust
the ability to? Well, there might be some.
Do you trust your?
No, I don't think we'll be able to pull that off. We can't even do homework.
What if it was a 7 day?
In 1 week. Yeah. You think we could do something for a month every day?
Fine. What if it was a week?
Something that pushes us. We're kind of lazy about being pushed.
Yeah, you got easy with the homework.
Well, this is not homework. This is just.
You're telling me to do something.
Yeah,
that's homework.
But that you would think is, and if it's for a short period of time, a week, it's it makes it more usable.
I mean, if we think of something interesting.
I like the idea. I like the fact that we're pushing against it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with putting ourselves out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, and then we could be honest about that too. We could be like, I only did it for 2 days.
I didn't really.
Yeah. And then people maybe tuning in who are cold shower people be like, no, what you need to do is this or whatever.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like the idea. I mean, where the heck did the cold shower concept?
Because that was a video I saw. But it could be he did it for a month, and some people do these for a year. But if ours would be kind of funny because it's only for a week, and it kind of it shows how lazy we are.
No video games.
What?
No video games.
I mean, that could be, or no reading for a week.
Yeah.
It would just be something funny, I think. And obviously it's not something you have to be.
Notice Nabil's face at this point.
Yeah.
What?
It was so.
Yeah, I didn't find it funny, but that's okay. No, I was thinking what happens? Does location matter? What happens where we live right now? You know what I mean? What activities are happening?
You want to take this outdoor?
I was just thinking about it.
Well, I just was walking around, and you guys went for a walk.
I don't really go outside that often. So I don't know.
Oh, that's pushing him.
Yeah. But I don't know, if it is even worth it. Is there anything worthwhile that happens locally?
Zoo. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Oh, I'll tell you what we could do. We could go check our local library and ask them. We'll tell them who we are and say, can we host our thing here, and kind of that's something we could do.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not.
That's a live audience, and then we're more reserved. Remember, we were talking about that too.
Yeah, I like to corner my guests. I like to have them in our den. No, I wasn't even talking about how to improve the podcast. I was just saying
No, then what were you talking about?
What was
the impetus?
I was just thinking I was thinking the podcast. First, I was thinking we communicate on a global level, but then what if we're we only cover local news kind of thing? I mean, those are the kind of guests that we'll have are people from the Bay Area, and and they do activities, and so my question was
so here's what you could do if you wanted to in the whole realm of coding.
Mm-hmm.
Could you put together something that randomly pulls 4 words for our podcast, 4 words of the day,
Yeah, probably.
And then as soon as we set up, we say, okay, word number 1 is this.
I'm
word
sure
number
you
2.
could just. I'm sure that already exists. You could just say
I
word
know there
generator
is.
in Google. But
Yes, yes. We
But-
just find a word generator. But because we're lazy, we don't do our homework. Because I would have said, let's do our homework and have 4 words that we have to have up there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we need somewhere on your setup something which says the word generator, which says 5 or 3 or how many ever random words.
Yeah.
And then we do some bantering around with those words.
It's an idea, although you're asking me to do work in that.
No. The work would be in our however you set this up. That there's this automatically when the link comes up, we get the 3 words.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's something.
That might be something where we're just looking at the monitor instead of looking at our guests, our
Comments.
audience
Yeah.
making comments. We say, okay, this is the word that's coming up here, or no, we said no politics, so not news items.
But current events would be good. It doesn't have to be politically related, but
Could be
something current event that's interesting, like I don't know, of that day.
Our wittiness is down.
Yeah. I mean,
We were laughing.
Yeah, is that witty? Is that wit?
That's wit. Yeah.
Wit is laughter.
Oh, that's
there's like an energy, like a. There's an energy that you need to summon,
Yes.
and it's not. No, I don't find it easy.
Yes.
That's the main problem. It's like being hyper aware of something that you're talking about. That's how
you need a trigger.
Yeah, trigger.
need a
we need
trigger.
triggers. We need triggers.
And it's interesting how the word trigger.
It's not
you know,
just
you
coffee.
think
You
yes,
need
not
more
not
than
not
coffee.
herbal tea and not coffee. So you need a trigger. And for example, one of my very good friends was telling me about how one of her relatives is a bicyclist, and this bicyclist goes around on his bike. I mean, he's a competitive cyclist.
Mm-hmm.
And in Europe, and then she ends the sentence with, and he's fit. And my response, I had this image of, I said, well, you assume it's a given, you know, if you're a cyclist, that you would be fit, because it would be so sad if somebody who was unfit was a competitive cyclist. So the image you get,
Funny.
Yeah.
So really fat.
yes,
cyclist
overweight,
Who wins?
breathless. and so what you need is an image, you know, something that engages you enough where you think, okay, this is funny. And we couldn't stop laughing with this idea of an unfit cyclist who actually goes to Europe to compete. You know, why would anyone even think of doing that?
Yeah.
Now, of course, you might think that's not as amusing, but I couldn't even drive. I was so amused by this thought.
Right.
So you do need from time to time something that will engage your.
Isn't fit a
Funny
British
bone.
term for looking good as well?
That's smart.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could.
No,
say
no, but
people
like
are-
they,
Yeah, Europeans.
I've
say
heard
fit
the
or
yeah
British.
the younger
British.
British folk.
What
They
do
say,
they say?
yeah, and he looked fit,
Yeah.
you know.
People. I
They
mean,
use
you
fit
would use
in
that
a
here
way-
too, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
in England,
They use it particularly for this person looks good.
They use it like the word
Or-
proper, like how we don't use proper here. They use like. That's
Yeah.
proper. That's proper smart right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We should turn into a video game stream where we play video games. It'd be more fun to make mom play the games
Yeah.
because this is like you'd be coming with a fresh perspective.
Yes.
Because our perspective is probably really jaded.
Mm.
That would be a
But
funny
walking through the decisions that you're making, and we can play like TFT, like turn-based card games, but they're digital.
Okay.
And then,
Would we be able to do that sitting here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could, but we'd have to. That would be the whole like That would be the whole
Wait,
podcast.
so I would be the entertainment factor?
Yeah, it would be like
Yeah, maybe.
when Munim was like driving his truck. That was pretty.
You're the
funny.
ultimate decider, but we're all together trying to like think of the decisions that you're gonna make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because I'm the person who's new to it, I am the entertainer.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
would probably be the most
Yeah,
entertaining. Yeah, probably.
yeah, you would be the highlight of the.
And then we're
You're the cool guys.
No, I mean
Not the cool
we're
guys.
not the
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
guys. We're just trying to
That's all right.
we're trying to think through the decisions with you.
Yeah.
And like, which move? How should we play this?
Mm,
I don't know. But then that also is like, that's the whole format is then that. So then
Again, this doesn't have to be
Oh,
like a
oh.
every week thing.
So
It could be
here's
like a
here
once a week
on
thing.
on this
That's
note
true.
of creativity, I
Yeah.
could then teach you knitting.
Yeah. See, there
that's
you
true.
go.
Yeah, that's true.
You could sit there knitting,
Yeah.
and we could talk about knit one, slip one, pass, slip, stitch over.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that'd
true.
And then at the end we see it's like a very ugly looking pig or something.
An ugly looking what?
Pig.
Why pig?
Well, I don't know. Whatever we're knitting.
Yeah. Oh, you're very optimistic that you're going to finish something in 1
Yeah.
hour.
Well, is there something you guys want to like make or build that you would really want to do? Maybe we could work towards
Well,
that.
I'm upholstering the chairs.
Hmm.
Mm.
That didn't sound very interesting, did it?
No, I mean,
Well, I was trying to think of my own thing.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to
Like a rocket ship or
do.
something.
You want to build a rocket ship?
No, I don't know. I was making something.
Maybe
up.
like, yeah, I mean, maybe I could bring my programming problems to you guys. You just want to solve those.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think we could.
we can try.
We can try. I don't think I'm in that boat right now, but I have to. I'm just trying to think through the. Because to me, I'm thinking what engages me. And what engages me is like, if I have to do something. That's why I like games. Because games is like, you have to do something. You have to act.
Right.
So if we like, and so we've already suggested like solving challenges, but then for me, I'm still not engaged because I don't just want to do, I'm fine with random stuff, but like, if it's something that makes me like excited or like, all right, we're
if it
gonna
was
solve
like a
this
puzzle
thing.
or something.
If see puzzles to me is like, all right, whatever. I don't care about a puzzle. I think that could be.
How mobile is
I think
this
that could be
thing?
interesting. It's a laptop.
Yeah,
How
but
mobile is
I'm saying like the whole station.
I mean, it's pretty mobile, but I'd like to not move.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, what are your thoughts on?
I still like my favorite out of all the ideas was have a guest and talk about their profession. I think
Yeah, that's true.
either that.
What if we do two? What if we do both things?
both things?
What if we? Because the guest thing will be a once a month thing,
Yeah,
and then in between.
an idiot's guide or an idiot doing.
So we've got four sessions.
Uh huh.
One would be the words. The first week would be 3 words that we banter around. 3 random words. And you know what? I can just bring the thesaurus down here, and what we would do is it will just sit here, and then we don't have to do anything there. We just open it, okay,
Yeah, that's true.
and say, this
Okay.
is the word.
Okay, let's just start with that then. We'll just start with that.
We can do that, and then the
But I'm
second.
still
Your guest has
interested
to. Will
I'm
take
still
some time.
interested in farming your guys' brain juices to solve my algorithms.
I don't think that's gonna work.
What do you mean?
Like,
No, I'm just trying to solve my own problems.
yeah.
You don't think that's
You-
a?
I don't think.
You don't think that's content?
I think it would be. Yeah, I don't think it would be content because we wouldn't even get like very far. Like we wouldn't even understand like the basics of the
Okay,
problem.
so
I
here-
think you would.
Okay,
It's just math.
Okay,
Maybe.
listen. Here's the thing.
It's not like you don't need to know the language of the computer.
Okay,
You just need to know math.
so long as you can do the homework to bring the problem to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah,
Bring the-
I wouldn't
bring the
make you.
problem.
I wouldn't make you do any. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
I would bring the problem. It would be something like, okay, I need. Do you know what an array is?
Yes, a list.
Yeah, basically it's a
Hmm.
list. Yeah, so it's like a list. So given one list with these, with each item having like these properties,
Yes.
give me a list in this particular order.
Yes, yes.
So like that's the kind of question that we'd be tackling.
Yes, that was something we, when I was back in school and they started, I remember the first chapter in the math book, this is in Pakistan, would be about sets and subsets and arrays and so on. And we were told that it's because of computers that we're learning this element. We never really knew and understood where it went from there. So that, you know, so that first two chapters, ever since now, my memory goes back to 1975. So that was when there was this awareness of you need to know sets and subsets and arrays and so on because you will use them somehow.
Yeah.
Never did.
Right.
So I remember that was why that thing kind of came to my mind.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
So it is. So here's how we can do it. So
And-
I bring the thesaurus, you bring the problem,
Yeah.
you bring something
And
else.
I guess for me, I have to bring the problem, and then I also have to bring, I guess, some my laptop or something that will run the algorithm that we put
yes.
together. That will go through each like case because it has to like pass certain cases, right?
Okay.
So like, if you were working with a square, you might come up with an algorithm that is useful, but only in that specific scenario. So basically,
Okay.
I have to come up with a way to test it in all the scenarios in 1 second, basically. It should be fine. But anyway, I'll bring that.
Okay, I have another idea as well. I have this other strategy, and I'll bring those words as well. These are words that are used by psychologists, and I wish I had known I could have brought them before I sat down. So it's a pack of cards. And somebody I took a class with gave me a strategy to think about personalities and characters in a book that you're writing or in a movie that you're making. And one of the things, one of the challenges you have is how to make somebody create a character with those characteristics, but through their actions, because all you can do is know their actions. You can't know what they're thinking. And so even if it's, a character that you see who is the porter at the front door, so you pick out 3 cards and you say, in a scene, describe this person doing something that demonstrates these 3 characteristics of this person. So it's really thinking of personalities and words, and then creating a person that demonstrates that personality. So, for example, you would have, if you had envious, benevolent, and what's a third word? What's a third adjective that you could use?
Gregarious.
Gregarious. Okay, so you've got this person who is gregarious, envious, and benevolent. What will this person do that will demonstrate all 3 of their character? They're kind of very talkative, okay, gregarious, outgoing, but they'll be envious of people, but they'll still also be very giving as well, even though they're
Sounds
envious.
like a Templar of the Holy Crusades.
But what will they do? What will they do in an
Strike
action?
down the infidels.
So,
But also they
no,
Give
but
to the poor.
no. So the benevolence is they give to the poor, but the envy, do they strike down because they're envious of the infidel? They're not striking the infidel because of envy.
Yeah.
That's more of a power play.
Yeah, that's true.
Envy is, I want what you got, or how dare you have this and I don't.
Yeah.
So,
maybe not that. It's let's think of another guy or gal.
Oh,
A jester.
tell me
A
what the
jester?
What does
Yeah.
the jester do?
Yes.
The
Jester is
Yes. Makes fun of the king.
makes fun of the king.
That's his envy.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
gets to jab it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But
He
under
can't
the
be-
veil of,
yeah.
but it's fine. Like
Yeah.
I'm the jester, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
be funny.
yeah. And I'm gregarious. That's
Yeah.
what I
And he likes the laughter that the town gets because they're all suffering. So
So that's his benevolence.
that's his benevolence.
What is
Okay.
benevolence?
Oh, as in
Like
give
charitable.
Charitable.
Yes.
And what was the other one?
It was envious.
Gregarious?
Gregarious.
Gregarious is outgoing, talkative. So
Oh,
you
it's
have to
just
be a
by
its
nice guy.
nature.
Game over.
Yeah.
So I'll bring immediately after our session now, I'll bring my thesaurus for the 3 words if we choose to do that,
Okay.
and I'll bring those cards down. And you will have to do homework. I don't know.
That's fine. I'll
And-
try my best to get something set up where we can we're all trying to develop an algorithm basically.
Yes.
And it's not, you don't need to know programming languages. You just need to
Mm.
know some basics like a list and stuff.
Mm.
We can get that, and then and then
And I'll bring my wit.
you bring your wet. You bring that
Quick
little,
witted.
How do you wet your wit?
yeah. How do you wet
I'm
your
quick.
whistle?
I'm quick witted.
How do you?
Alright, we
yeah,
need your-
yeah.
Well,
How do you speed up your wit?
How do you speed up your wit?
I need your
Yes.
wit to like just go.
Mm.
We need to pulsate into
Mm.
electrons that fire
Quick
your
wit,
neurons.
It's there.
How do you
It's
do
just-
that?
It's just there. I don't know. Maybe it was from the cycle. Who knows? I'm quick witted.
Yeah, we'll be like a
I'm
think tank,
quick-witted.
though. We'll be like a think tank.
Well, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
just keep saying it and then that makes you quick with
Yeah.
What?
Well,
You got to do something.
well,
No,
next
you say it and
coming
you
the
believe
next
it.
program.
Oh,
coming the
it's
next program.
self-actualization.
It'll
You say it and it
be
becomes
like a
Yeah.
knife.
becomes a real
yeah.
thing.
It'll quick, sharp.
Quick.
Coming the next
sheath.
program, we'll demonstrate it. We'll start out with some mental word games to loosen us up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then we'll
yeah.
develop an algorithm and just keep farming out these algorithms, and then everyone will be like, "Whoa, these guys
These
are
guys-
genius."
Wit.
Who are those guys who will say these guys are
Just
geniuses?
the internet, people who are YouTubing
Yeah.
how to solve algorithms.
Algorithms.
What's the plural of genius?
Genii.
Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein.
Well, we're at 5:01, so we're at an hour.
Okay.
So, all right. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be solving, so we're going to loosen up with some word games on the next program, and also developing algorithms for programs. So,
Ooh.
So tune in.
So-
You won't want to miss
yeah,
it.
you won't want to miss it. So stay tuned, and until next time,
Sign
ta-da.
out.